Hello, everyone. So this is not really necessarily a coding stream so much as a exploring or reading code stream. So my overall goal, I've been working on an animation tool, and it works pretty well for what it does. And I found that there's a package called Rosal that I've looked at a little bit that just does a lot of the things that I want to do in terms of like being able to animate charts and graphs and so on. And so I was hoping to install it into Glamorous Toolkit. It's actually, for unfortunate reasons, the library that the graphic stack for Glamorous is based on this toolkit called Block, and for unfortunate reasons, that has been forked. So the base Pharo has a version of Block, and then Glamorous has a version of Block, and they're not entirely compatible with each other yet. And Rosal, this nice library, uses the Pharo version, or they have a backend for the Pharo version. So I was thinking of writing a backend for the, adapting that backend to serve as the backend for Glamorous Toolkit, so that I could use their stuff inside of my stuff, and so on. That's kind of the idea. And so the problem I ran into is that Pharo has this package manager called Monticello and Metacello. I'm still not clear on the difference between these two things. But whenever you have a repository, you generally tend to build your repository such that there are many packages inside of it, and then these baseline things kind of like tell the system how to install each one of these packages. So normally none of this comes with Glamorous Toolkit. So I've gone through the kind of the alternate instructions for Glamorous. So gtoolkit.com. I go up here. I've gone in here, and you go to download, and then if you scroll down to the bottom, you can run this little command, and you can get the you run the script that checks out all the repositories. So now I've done that, and I've run the resulting thing. So this is like the up to the minute version of Glamorous Toolkit. Oh, I guess I should turn this off, right? Right. So you see that, but that's what it was saying under. Just it's a little PowerShell script that you can use to download, or shell script that you can use to download everything, and it made a little directory on my computer that does not want to move into this. The window does not want to move for some reason. There we go. And yeah, so I just ran this bin Glamorous Toolkit, and now I have this running. So it doesn't have any of my stuff in it. It doesn't have anything here. And I want to install my stuff. So I guess they being Fink, the makers of Glamorous Toolkit, they do this every day. They run the latest integration every morning, and then they have the latest and greatest version to work with, and so then they have all these repositories that are up to date. So I don't actually know where it is on disk. There we go. So the code directory is is Pharo local. Okay, so Iceberg. Okay. And maybe that's fine. Maybe that's what we want to do. But I have a copy of the Rosal source code, and it is here. Well, actually, okay, so Rosal 3, where did that come from? Local repository missing. Because okay, so what I did before the camera came on, maybe I should just close this, restart from scratch. Do not just quit. Let's run this again, because I had done some stuff here. So this is a completely fresh image, no changes whatsoever on my side. Let me turn this light on here. So okay, so now if I go to Git, I think it's going to go through and scan all these and figure out what the status are. So what local I believe this is turning a little bit, so it's taking some time. This is a gaming machine, so it shouldn't be that slow, but using my CPU. Discord stuff. Get rid of Discord. Okay, Firefox. Probably don't need Firefox either, but it's not that bad. Okay, so glamorous. Okay, seems to be doing okay, but it is responsive now. Okay, so, and I think also when you do that for the first time, I like to do scale the UI and just come down here and click this little button to make it a little easier to read. Okay, so so it ships with Rosal. The local repository is missing by default. Okay, so I guess that's true of all these things that are not part of Glamorous Toolkit. They're just there. I mean, let me rephrase that. These things are things that came with Pharo, and so they're part of the Pharo distribution. And I guess they're not maintained by Fink, and so for whatever reason they're here, but they're not. They're not. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. They're not maintained. They're not part of. They're not really part of Glamorous Toolkit. Like they're just here because they were part of Pharo. They're not used by Glamorous Toolkit, as far as I know. They're not meant to be part of Glamorous Toolkit. So this is, Glamorous is built atop of the Morphic World, not Morphic World, atop of Pharo. So this is like this is old school Pharo, and this does have Proposal 3 in it. So if you look at the if I open one of these, I should be able to say, that it opened the other kind of playground. GT playground? No, that opened a GT playground. I just open a regular playground. Maybe you can. Okay, this is new. This opened something over here. This is not what I wanted. Browse, system browser. Okay. Can I open a playground this way? You used to be able to just open a playground. I thought. Maybe not. No, this is opening one of these. A little window off to the side. Okay, well. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, you get this like stub version, or like a simplified version of Rosal. It doesn't have everything. It only has, like this handful of stuff. And then all these things are not set up, and like this is out of date. Like, maybe this is not out of date. Maybe I did something to. I'm not sure, because there used to be something in here called Rosal 3-core, which is not part of Rosal. Okay, so I'm confusing myself. I'll just stop talking about that. All right, so point is, I want to get this out of the way. I want to get rid of this. I'm not really sure what to do here, because it's in the Git tracker, but it's not. But it's missing, right? So this is. What do you do? As I said, normally this is empty. This list right here is empty when you open up the downloaded version of GT. If I hit this, does it download it? Fetch. No. Okay, well, this kind of ties into what I was trying to get at. So I'm just trying to. So if I come up here and I press this button, then I can load a local repository. I want to figure out what does that button do. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because see, the UI is not sufficient to do this. So I can in the Morphic world, if I bring this back, I can. There's a tool called Iceberg, and this is like the framework for what? I don't know what you would call this. The framework for working. Iceberg is a framework for working with Git, but it also ties into this Monticello thing, which is the package manager. So yeah, Monticello, install baseline of this. So I want to get rid of this. All right, so we'll not. I think that's what I want. I just want to forget this. And I think if I click on here, I can do that same thing. Forget. Okay, so that's it. So that's what I want to do. And if I Control Shift Alt, click on this, on that button, well, it did not really do what I expected it to do, did it? Action bar, toolbar. There's nothing inside of that tab bar, maybe. There we go. Forget, and if I scroll over here, I was expecting to see a. Okay, so it's an attributed element. I'm expecting it to see. If it's a button, okay, the button itself maybe. Yeah, the button itself should have a thing called action, and then we can see what it does. And this is the action. Is definition requested, action GT value with args, the button, large element. This means nothing to me. It looks like this is a standard thing for all those buttons. Like they all have the same code. This one has on flow. So that's the bookmark button. Really hard to see here. And the rest of them are just like GT flow button action. And is definition requested. False action, get value with args. GT value with args. Button, a target element. Action GT value with args. A target element, a button model. I don't know what that means. Okay, so not advice for me. Check the scalable. Well, I'm gonna click this button, but in general, I want. Okay, so that popped up something. Do was sent to nil. Do database registry remove DB database. Okay. Forget Lepiter databases. Okay, so it did this, and then it tried to forget the databases, and it does not have a database. Okay, which could right because it does not have a databases. To database registry remove DB database. It does not understand. So it seems like this just forget button seems to be broken. But if I come back here now, let's just close this, open up GT, Git again, and see if Rosal is there. It's gone. Okay, good. Okay, so now I do want to press this button. So I asked on the mailing on the Discord, the Pharo Discord, how can I just programmatically add my local working copy to Iceberg? And I got a response from somebody who seems to know what they're talking about, but he did not answer, or they did not answer the question that I asked. And so I said, how can I add a local working copy to Iceberg from a script? I'd like to just be able to run a single command and restore all my repos every time I update my image. Okay. And then Iron IRC says, I'm not really sure what you want to accomplish, but maybe something in the neighborhood of this. So create an ICE repository creator remote with the thing, with the address of the, and then you're, return this thing. And then ICE repository creator, create repository, register repository on the libgit repository. So, and I said, thanks, but I mean, I already have my code checked out as a working copy in a specific place on my hard drive. I want to tell Iceberg to load the working copy from that directory, which is what I want. Maybe it doesn't matter. Like if it's checked in, maybe it doesn't really matter. As long as it is a local working copy, and maybe I should try this. All right, so I've also in my Leopard is this document database, and I've got this right here, loading Rosal 3 for block, or it should really be for GT. And what I had said was to remove that from Pharo 10, remove the existing version that came from Pharo 10. I'm gonna break this into two pieces and see if I can get this to work at all. All right, so it does have these objects. Okay, these still exist. These are floating around in the system. They're packages. I'm going to remove this. I want to remove this, I think. Rosal 3. Oh, it doesn't say. This is all new to me. Usually when I open this in Glamorous, this is all empty. But in this version here that I built from source, it does seem to show all these things. So 10 classes, for method depends on 13 baselines. Baseline of Rosal 3. Dependencies. Yeah, this is usually what I see. Like things like this, just completely empty information here. Okay, so the problem, or part of the problem, is that if you look at the so this is old. This is the old version. This is a very old version. If you look at the actual new version in the latest and greatest version in GitHub, which is right here. If you look at that, that's the same class. This baseline of Rosal 3. This is the baseline of Rosal 3 package, and then here's the class. And if we look at the same thing, this is serialized in this some format. I forget what it's called. That allows you to tonal maybe, but it allows you to yeah. So it has this thing, spec block. This is under dependencies, and it's not here. So they've added this, and I added this. So I said, and this is probably completely wrong, but I said, and by this is actually not the latest and greatest. This is my fork of it. So it says tangent fork. So baseline of Rosal 3 block repository, and then and then choose which package to look at. All right, so what happened was I installed Rosal 3, you just using the okay, let me back up again. So on here, this is the Pharo Discord channel. I went to the Rosal channel and I asked for how can I just install Rosal 3 block. I see it. How do I do it? And I did load this, and I loaded the full thing. And Milton Mamani, I hope I'm saying his name right, who seems to be one of the maintainers or the maintainer of Rosal, said to do this. So Metacello new, baseline Rosal 3, same thing that I had done, except load block full. Okay. And I said, I tried that, but it doesn't usually take this long to run. And he replied, well, it's probably trying to load this, which is the problem, as far as I could tell. So I went through and I said, well, okay, you know, I just manually changed it to this. And I believe that's what we're looking at here. So I think if I just if I were to just run what am I trying to say? I'm not sure. All right, so I guess okay, hang on, let me back up a little bit. So I was at this point, right? I'm trying to clean my system so that I am not conflicting with all these things that already exist. And so I said, let's just remove all these packages. And I had done that previously by going into the Morphic world. It seems to already be loaded somewhere. It's right here. And I just, you know, this was much smaller. But somehow I was able to no, it's not this. It's not this. It's the package explorer in Metacello. This was empty for me. In the download version of GT, this is empty, but in the build your own version, you get all these tools. But I went in here, and you still get this. So I went into here. I typed in Rosal, and everything that had anything to do with Rosal, I just deleted, and I just went through and deleted each one. And then I asked how to automate that on the GT list, and Sean Denigris, however you say your name, Sean, sorry, gave me an example of how he removes the fuel thing. I think fuel is a object serialization thing. I'm not, maybe restoring in a database. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, but just our package organizer packages, select anything that has that name, and then remove from system. And I changed that to eFind string is not 0 because I wanted to get the baseline as well. So if I do this, it's going to remove all those things. And that seems to work. That seems to work safely. So the first time you run it, it tells you all the things it deleted because it selected all of them and removed them from the system, and now here's all the stuff that are being removed. And if I run it one more time, all that has been garbage collected and it's empty. Okay, so there is no packages that match Rosal 3 anymore. Okay, so I need to add something here. So remove the existing version that came from Terracan. If using GT compile from source, remove the or forget the repository. Forget the Rosal free repository in the Git tool. And then I'm going to put a little to do here that says I do not know how to automate this yet. So to do, I don't know. I don't know how to automate. I will move away up. Okay. So then, all right, so let's say remove stock Rosal. So this is remove stock Rosal. So we can indent this, and indent this, and maybe indent this one twice. Okay. All right, so now install. So there seems to be two steps, and maybe there's not. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but install. Install packages from meta shell. See, the problem is this does not work. As I have it right now, this does not work. So I created this GT full thing. And here in GT full, right? It says load Rosal 3 block, and apparently load that twice. So I made a mistake. That is meant to say full and Rosal 3 block. Or maybe you should just say block full. Okay, anyway, in any case, this is wrong. So let's say I edit this on GitHub, right? Because I don't know how to tell this system to load my local repository. Except, what I don't want to include this. I really don't want to include this as a repository, because just let's see. I think what I want to do here, I want to say this. Only do this if false, because like you don't see this importing Morphic, right? Maybe it depends on Morphic, but if false, then do this. And then this one. So if we don't include G-tool, so if this is not in Glamorous, right? So this is only depend on block for pharo. Depend on block, but not if we're in a block. We're in G toolkit, which should be okay. And then this can go away. Okay. I want to be I'm going to run this without. I'm going to run this from GitHub, right? Because I don't know how to tell it to load my local working copy cleanly. programmatically. I can manually, bring this in and hit the button, but right, and say like import it, but then I don't know what to do next. And then is that all I needed? And then GT should be for where it says G toolkit, GT full. That should say block full. Right. I'll commit changes. That package Rosal 3 block with, right? Rosal 3 block. There's like, so baselines has this thing in it. No, register packages has this. I'm very confused by all this. I don't really understand what's going on with Metacello, but I think this is a reasonable thing to say here, because then it just won't import anything. Or package names. Spec package name, yeah. So spec package. Okay, so all these things are being programmatically added, and then we're manually adding some things for whatever reason that they're just not. Okay. I'm going to commit these changes, and I'm going to call this baseline Rosal 3 G toolkit cleanups. Okay. I'm going to commit. This is my branch, so I'm just going to commit directly. So now I'm going to save this state exactly as it is. Okay, so this is the only step I've done so far. It's taking its time to save. Okay. That's surprising me. The whole image is only 700 megabytes in memories right now, so why it's okay. And now I'm going to hit that button, and this might take like 5 or 6 minutes. I hope it doesn't. So let's see. 6:35. 6:36 is a clock right now. So this is unusable for a few minutes, so I'm going to just make a note that I started it at 6:36 p.m. started Rosal 3 install. I'm hoping this installs cleanly right now. Okay, but while that's running, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up another copy of Glamorous Toolkit. Oh, okay, well, it no longer exists. So let's open a different version of Glamorous Toolkit. This is the morphic world for this version of Glamorous Toolkit. So, all right, so I'm gonna try and find my, so I think that was in C, or downloads maybe? I think that was in my downloads directory, and I just, all right, I completely deleted that, right? No, I didn't. What I did was I yeah, I manually downloaded this and I opened this up. Okay. What's not responding? Now Windows isn't responding. Okay. And Windows is crashing. Okay. Nope. I'm back. Okay. I thought Windows was about to crash. OBS still running. Right. I'm going to delete that directory. Permanently delete. It does take a while. Maybe this will come through. It's been about 2 minutes now since this started. Did I do it right? Repository tangent forks Rosal 3. And if I go into the baseline here, then the baseline is Rosal 3. Load GT full. With block full loads Rosal 3 block. Somewhere in here, Rosal 3 block, or it depends on block, which should be already in the system. And then if it does not include a package, if it does not include G toolkit, then run this. I believe that is correct. And it didn't give me a weird error, so like hopefully it's running. I don't know. I have no idea what it's doing. I have no idea how to inspect what it's doing because the system is just unresponsive during this whole time. Okay, so now this is finished deleting. I'm going to go ahead and extract all to the directory that has this version. This is the latest version from that was released, which was, as far as I know, there hasn't been another release. That's all automated. So I think this is actually the exact same code that I got from Git, except whatever. There might be a slight difference if some, depending on what the rules are for triggering a release. But they do multiple releases a day. So I think they're integrate. I think every time they make a commit to Git, every time Think makes a commit to one of its repositories, the entire thing is repackaged and uploaded and released. And my reason for saying that is because if you look at the GitHub channel on the Glamorous Toolkit Discord server, you can see that every hour or so they're getting a new version, but not exactly every hour. So I would think probably it runs every hour and checks to see if there are any versions, any changes or whatever. So the last version was 7.21, which was, I believe, 3 days ago. That was Friday. Today is, for me, is Sunday. And so that's what I think happens. I don't believe there's any, excuse me, yeah. Okay, so it does tell you what, so it's not every commit, but just every hour or two, it checks this. It runs a script and then whatever's been committed there. Okay. Here it is. Okay, so you can actually get the nice. It'd be kind of nice if this had the you could follow those links. Anyway, okay, that's done. Doing its thing, still running over here. So this again is back to my original problem, which is that it takes many minutes to load this, and I don't know what it's doing. I would think that. Okay, hang on a second. I'm doing like two things at once, right? I'm doing this one. I was checking this out, and then I'm going to run this and make this my like master version or whatever for now. And I gave more info, run anyway. Probably shouldn't be doing two things at once, but I hate waiting for one thing to run. So then here, do this. Scale the UI. Run that. Boom. Okay. And then my daughter was writing her name. So she's learning how to type on a computer. A lot of these are garbage. So anytime you open a playground, you get these little pages, and many of them are garbage. Yeah, I was just I was trying to see what I could do to to define whether or not we were running under glamorous or not. So that returns true. This is garbage. Okay. And this is garbage. Color picker notes. Not sure what I was doing here. Doesn't work. This is my this is what you have to do to make a button appear. Okay, what am I doing? I'm just looking through here. I was actually looking for something about setting up new image setup. So zoom factor. Okay, I actually don't need this based on how to scale the. I'm fine with the how to scale the UI one. But what I really want to do is set up a. I want to add my repositories. I want to add my local repositories to this Git tool, right? So this is based on Iceberg. See, and so here, this is the release version, so it doesn't have all the pink stuff. And so I want to load a local repository. You would think there'd be something like, here, let's make this bigger. You would think there'd be a method called like load local repository, right? Or load repository, but there's not. Undefined object. Okay, wait, hang on a second. I'm looking at nil, right? Repository. Oh, okay, so, right. So I'm not inspecting this whole scene here, right? So I want to be able to, I want to know what happens when I click this button. Manage Git repository. I'm going to search for that string, manage Git repositories. I know this. Shortcuts are keyboard shortcuts. I believe GT world element is this. It's this whole screen, everything in here. If I scroll this up and I just hit like up here, right? So GT world element is the entire scene, right? And you have tabs. So GT world element probably contains the setup code for this whole thing, right? Oh. Okay, well I screwed that up. Good. I don't know what I did. I closed something I shouldn't have closed, obviously. All right, so I think maybe I can say I can bring up a debugger. Yeah, and then I can inspect anything, and then I can browse that. No, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to bring up the top level. I know I can just close this and just start over again. Let's try Control dot to open a debugger. It does not work this time. I did, okay. Okay, and then I'm just going to do anything, right? And then I'm going to say GT world new open. What if I just do it? GT world. Okay, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to open in GT world. GT world new. Like that. Yeah, I don't know how to launch. I don't know how to do that. All right, so we're gonna kill this. But we'll have a lot better time of. I'm okay. See, I don't know which one is which. Presumably, the one on top is. I don't know. Don't know which one is which. Right? If I just bring up anything, yeah. So I don't know which one is which. Okay, so I want to kill this one. So no, you have to use the button on the left over here. This one is still running something. Okay, so you would think one of them is using the CPU and the other one is doing nothing. So one of them is using the CPU. One of them is called 2. So we're going to say small talk. Open anything. Small talk. Like that. Can I see what directory these are running in? Oh, okay, so this one has the debugger in it. All right, so the one that has the debugger, we're going to kill. Okay. End task. Wonderful. Okay, now we can tell them apart. Still running. Okay, and I said I started this at 6:36 p.m. It is now 6:53 p.m. So I have no clue what this thing could be doing. It should not have taken this long. Shouldn't take 20 minutes, that's for sure. So